Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the Red Room, where I get serious. I talk about some serious stuff. Just being real and honest. You know what? This chair's a bit squeaky and that. But yeah, where I'm just real and honest and just being myself and just speaking from my heart, man. So this is Red Room episode 1. It's gonna be, uploaded up onto YouTube every Saturday. So yeah, man. Hope you guys can obviously subscribe, follow the IG, which is Made Muscle TV. Yeah, man. So let me just get into this. So today I want to talk about, fatherhood. I've already spoke about this, but I spoke about it on Next Levels, which was a series I was doing before. But yeah, this is gonna be a bit more serious, a bit more deep, and it's more about my life. So yeah, man, just gonna be honest with it, and rather than me advising people and talking about how to deal with things and blah blah blah, I'm just gonna say how I dealt with things and how it was like for me growing up. So yeah, obviously I grew up with my mother. She was a single parent. I wouldn't say life was hard, because if you compare your life compared to others, then it's like, nah, man, your life was good. You know what I'm saying? So I say if I compare my life to some of my friends, I feel like maybe I had it a little bit more difficult with certain things. I wouldn't say all my friends, but I'm saying like there's certain friends I could look at and be like, yeah, man, you're good. But I kind of just judged. I don't know what their life was like inside their household. It just seemed like a good household to me because both parents were there. That's how I saw things. And then I'll look at some of my friends who were in a similar situation to me, where they hardly see their father, or didn't see their father, or don't know their father, and I'll be like, yeah, I can relate to you. But then again, it's weird because even some of the ones that have both parents, they still got in trouble. You know what I mean? Some of them got in more trouble than me. So sometimes it's not about your father not being there, or your mother not being there, or you being orphaned in a foster home or foster care rather. It's not about that, man. It's about how you perceive things. It's about your mind and your mindset, how you deal with things and how you cope with things. What is your coping mechanism? You know what I mean? What do you do to deal with things? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like, for example, people who are religious have like that advantage, I feel like, because you have that self-discipline and whatnot. And I didn't grow up in a religious home. However, my mother always believed in God. I felt like I always believed in God, like just growing up from young. You know what I mean? I remember looking out the window and just thinking to myself, like, what's this about, this life? What is my purpose? And obviously I didn't know my purpose because I wasn't Muslim. I didn't know my purpose. But I believed there was God, and I believed that God created all of this. Like, I would look at the trees, the birds, the sky, the moon, the sun. Like, and I remember being young. I sure I was about 5, 6, 7. One of them ages there. When you can't even really remember your age. I must have been young. But I remember just getting up. And as a kid, you get up early. And what do most kids do? They turn on TV, watch Tom and Jerry, watch these cartoons. Nowadays, they go on their phone, right? Or go on someone's phone, right? If they ain't got their own phone. And they play computer games, iPads, and all that stuff, right? Me now, obviously, as a kid, we will play computer games where we like Sega Mega Drive or Master System, something like that. So, and if you're even more old school than me, obviously it would be something else, or you didn't have computer at all because there was no computers back then. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I was probably about 7, 6 or 7. I remember just looking out the window, and from when it was dark, it was literally just pitch black. I'm just looking out the window. And then I'll probably go back to the other side of the room, sitting on my bed or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's almost like I was just reflecting and contemplating. Then I remember just going back out, looking out through the window, and it was getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Obviously, it would have been like around Fajr time, but I wasn't Muslim, so I wouldn't have known that. And I just remember just literally until the sun, until the sun rose, right? Until the sun came up, I was literally, up until sunrise, like I was just looking out the window And I was thinking to myself, like, this can't be it. Like, I started thinking about what happens after we die. Like, I'm thinking about death. Like, what happens when you die? Or why are we here? Like, I'm thinking of these deep questions. Like, I'm thinking to myself, right? And, you know, sometimes I think to myself, that kind of maturity, that kind of mindset, that kind of wisdom to have at a young kid, like being a young kid, not being in a religious home or anything like that, not having conversations about religion, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we believed in God, but that was about it. No conversation about religion, no learning about wudu, none of this, because my mum weren't Muslim, I weren't Muslim, you know what I mean? Yeah, we could say we came from a Christian background, but no one really practiced it, you know what I'm saying, except for my grandma and maybe like her sisters and, you know, the older generation, you know what I'm saying. And I didn't know nothing about Christianity back then, like at that age anyway. Obviously I would go Sunday school, not obviously because not everyone went, but my mum sent me Sunday school, and I just feel like, you know what I mean, I feel like my mum kind of just done that just to, it's something to do, you know what I'm saying, like with anything, like, oh, there's a football team, go play for them, like, you know what I mean, train, and you know what I mean, like my mum she would tell me to go to these things and whatnot, and you know, even in school it's like learn the guitar, like, you know, all these kind of things, like this is what I've done. So it was just kind of normal, innit? But yeah, man, I'm kind of losing track of where I was. But yeah, yeah, I feel like that kind of maturity and that wisdom I was saying before, obviously, I feel like when I think to myself, where did I get that from? I think it was just the way I was brought up. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, I was the only child, so I'll be sitting in my room all day. That's time to reflect, almost like I'm in jail. But obviously nothing like it, right? But you're in your room a lot of the time. Let's be real, right? You're in a room a lot of the time just chilling. You know, you got time to yourself. You're waking up hella early anyway, so more times mum's not even up, but I'm just early. I'm up early, reflecting, thinking, looking out the window, like. So for me, I just feel like that's a bit of maturity and wisdom, like, but where did it come from? And like I said, I feel like there was just all different types of elements that kind of brought that into manifestation, just the way I was acting. And I feel like also like my father not being there, and this is the whole part of the you know, where I'm going to get to anyway. This kind of leads to what I'm talking about with the whole kind of maturity and the wisdom. I just feel like little things like just how I was brought up kind of thing. I feel like it's weird because I feel like maybe fathers shut down kids a lot. Because not all fathers, but I feel like maybe I do that myself. And I need to learn not to do that. You know, just like little things, like you feel like your kids might say something and you're just like, no, I don't think you should do that. But you're not even trying to listen to them first. It's just like, no, I don't think you should do that. That's not good. Like, or don't do that. Or no, I don't think that's for you. But maybe you just need to hear them out. And I feel like maybe us fathers, a lot of us are just like quick to just say, no, I mean. So I think it depends. All kind of parents do that, innit, I suppose. But I just feel like I never had that from my father. He wasn't there, innit? And my mum weren't doing that. So I feel like I had ideas. I had thoughts. I didn't have no one to tell me, why are you thinking like that? Like, why are you thinking, like, what's your purpose? What's life about? You know, you might get some parents like that thinking, kids trying to get all religious and he's like 7 years old. What's that about? You know what I mean? I didn't have that. You know what I mean? So it was like, I just feel like things happen for a reason. Like, I feel like, what would it have been like if my father was there? That's what I think sometimes. I think, really, what would my life be like if my father was there? Now, I want to talk about something, kind of moving away from that a little bit. Something that happened in my life. I was 13 at the time. 12, 13, something like that, right? I remember I was around them ages, and I spoke to my dad for the first time, right? Maybe I done it when I was a baby, like in baby language, because that's, you know what I mean, like baby language. But you know, I just like, obviously last time I saw him or whatever, I was probably about 2 or 3, something like that. I don't remember. Like, I don't even remember my dad living with me at home with my mum. Like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that life. Do you know what I'm saying? So, for me to talk to my dad, it was the first time. He might have spoke to me as a baby. I might have said a few words back that didn't make sense because I was a baby. But I'm 13 or 12 or whatever. I can speak. I'm a teenager. I'm coming up to being a teenager. I can talk on the phone to my dad, like ask him questions. He could ask me questions. So I spoke to him. And I remember just before I spoke to him, my mom said, I didn't want you to have his number because he's going to let you down. Now, I don't know how I got the number. I think something like my mom saw someone who either knows him or is a relative or something like that to my dad, and they gave the number. But anyway, my mom had the number. She gave it to me to phone. I phoned, but before my mom handed me the number, she said, he's going to disappoint you. She said it from the get-go. She said, he's going to disappoint you. Now, in my head, I'm just thinking, why is my mom saying that? I wasn't like at that age to think, my mom's just saying that because she don't like him, or I didn't think like that. My thing was that I was just asking myself, why did my mom say that? But because I was so kind of excited in talking to my dad, I kind of brushed that to the side. So I was just like, oh, okay, that's what my mom's saying. But you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be cool. It's going to be fine, innit? Obviously, I'm going to speak to my dad. So what I did was I phoned him. Now, when I phoned him, I was like, wow, you know what? This is mad. You know when it's ringing? You know when you're like excited to speak to someone and it's ringing? And you're like, please answer, please answer. It's just ringing, ringing, ringing. And I don't know if it just kept on ringing and then he called me back. Something like that. I can't remember if he actually answered the phone. But I remember one particular time when I actually spoke to him. Yeah, so that must have been the same time. You know what? I can't even remember. But whether it was the same time or not, I spoke to him. I don't know if he called me 5 minutes later back or whatever. But I remember when I actually spoke to him, I remember clearly I was in the bathroom. Like, I just went to the bathroom. And obviously the mirror's there. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm talking on the phone. And like, I can't even remember what we spoke about. But I remember what my dad's voice sounded like. And it was just like, I was scared to talk. I was, you know what I mean? I didn't feel confident in talking to my dad. This is my dad, and I'm not confident to talk to my dad. Everyone should be confident to speak to their parents. They should be most confident when they're speaking with their parents. If you're a shy person or an introverted person, you should be, if you're, you know what I mean? If you're shy around every single person you meet, it should not be your parents. There's no way. You should be able to be yourself in front of your parents. So yeah, I didn't feel comfortable. But I remember we arranged a time to meet up, and it just didn't happen. I don't know what happened. He didn't call me. I remember I don't know if I was calling him or something like that, but it just didn't work out that way. So lo and behold, 7 years has gone by. So whether I was 13, 12, I don't know. But them ages has gone by. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Or I might have been 19. No, I think I was 20. That's when I spoke to my dad next. Now, so that whole time, within 7 years, I haven't spoke to my dad, right? Or seen him. So let me tell you what happened within those 7 years. Within those 7 years, I went to secondary school. And this is going to sound a bit mad. I went to secondary school. And the school that I went to, imagine, my brother, first of all, let me mention this because you lot are going to be confused. So my dad, he has 3 sons, right? And I heard, Allahu Alam, I heard there's another brother somewhere in the world. I don't know if this is true, but all I know is I usually think about who I've seen. If I haven't seen someone, I can't really think, oh, is that, like, you know what I mean? I haven't seen this person, so I don't know if there's another brother or what. But I know there's 3 brothers who I've met, right? and these three brothers are younger than me, right? They're all younger than me. And I got three older sisters. They're all older than me. So I'm in the middle. Oh wait, did I say three younger brothers? My bad, I'm getting confused now. I'm including me. I don't know why I'm doing, like, in my head I'm just thinking me and my two brothers. No, I got two younger brothers. My bad. You lot are just gonna think, you don't even know how many members in your family there are. Like, you don't even know. Sorry. I got two younger brothers, right? So I'm kind of in the middle anyway. Two younger brothers, three older sisters, right? Now, with that being said, me kind of being in the middle or whatever, I don't really mean nothing, innit? But I just feel like when I heard that I had two younger brothers and three older sisters, because I didn't know this for time until I was literally probably around 20. I didn't know. Literally. Like, me and my mum didn't have conversations about my dad, you know, and he's like, if he's got other kids, and I didn't ask them kind of questions, funny enough, because I asked loads of questions. I didn't ask those questions though. I didn't ask if I got brothers or sisters or anything like that. So I didn't really know any of that, right? But it was no surprise to me that I did have brothers and sisters, because that's how you think. I feel like when you think about someone who you haven't, you know what I mean, your father, he hasn't been there at all. Within that time, what's he doing? Within that time, he's going to be, you know what I mean, having kids. He's got a next woman, wife, or whatever. Like, he's moved on. So, he's, you know what I mean, this is normal. So, I just didn't know how many kids he had, but I assumed that he had kids. But yeah, obviously I found out I had two brothers and three sisters. And what was I going to say? One of my brothers, who is the oldest out of those two brothers, but he's still younger than me, is actually something like 5 or 6 years younger than me. He actually went to my secondary school. And when I was in year 11, which is the last year, he was in year 7, right? So some of the Americans that might see this, or, you know, anyone else that's not from the UK might get confused with, because I know in America they have 7th grade and this grade and it's different. We call it year over here, right? So the 11th year is the last year. And then after that, you go to 6th form or college. But, like, you know what I mean? You leave school, basically. So I was in the very last year. My brother was in year 7, which is the first year of secondary school. So he just started secondary school and I was about to leave secondary school, right? But there's no doubt in my mind, I definitely saw him when I was in school, whether it was in the playground or in the canteen where he was going to eat. Anywhere in school, I would have saw him, no doubt. If it wasn't every single day, I would have saw him maybe once or twice a week in that school. There's no doubt. I wouldn't have just, you know, not seen him at all. I definitely saw him and he saw me. But we didn't know each other. And we probably wouldn't have talked anyways, because he's in year 7 and I'm in year 11. There's a big difference. You don't really find year 11s chilling with year 7s or anything like that. So I didn't know him. At this time, when I'm going to school as well, I was going to school. Remember, I didn't speak to my dad during that, you know, for a long time, around that time. And you know what's crazy? Obviously, I said that I spoke to my dad when I was like 13 or 12. I would have been in secondary school. And he would have still been in primary school, like my youngest brother, right? Or my younger brother, not my youngest brother, my younger brother. So it's a bit mad, like, my story's a bit mad. But it sounds a bit mad, but there's so many people who have more problems than this. This is nothing, right? So I'm not trying to sit here and act like I've got the craziest problems in the world. I really haven't, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I'm comfy. Alhamdulillah. I'm happy. You know what I mean? I have my own family now. And I'll get into that, you know, another day, how beautiful it's been with my family, how amazing it's been with my family. And yeah, but anyways, back to what I was saying. So my brother turned out to be, he was at my school. That whole time he was in year 7, I was in year 11. And we definitely crossed paths. So what's mad? What is mad is and just to kind of mention, nah, I'm not gonna mention it. I was gonna mention something about, you know, Bunny. Yeah, actually I'm gonna mention this because it will make sense. How I found out that my brother was in the same year as me was when I actually met him for the first time, which was when I was like 20, right? I'm going to tell you how that happened, how I actually met him, and how I actually found my dad's house. I'll mention that in a minute. But yeah, maybe it will make sense to mention it now. I'm trying to think where I'm going with this. So, okay, so I spoke to my dad around 12 or 13, something like that, right? Never saw him. I was meant to meet up with him. That fell through. Didn't see him at all until I was 20. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead with that. So, obviously, when I was like 20, this is how I found out, that my brother went to my school, right? So, when I was 20, something like that. Oh yeah, also let me mention a few things before I get into that, right? Obviously there was loads of things that happened in my life during that time, right? I was into music, I was into football, but it got to a point where I became more into music from like the age of 16. Yeah, I would play football, I was a baller. Like I remember being 16 doing some mad tricks, I was a baller, right? And I believed in my heart that I'll make it as a pro footballer. It didn't happen, right? Anyways, and I think one of the reasons why that didn't happen is because one time I played for a semi-pro team. Well, it was trials. So I had trials for a semi-pro team. I think the team was called Banstead Athletic, right? And so they were semi-pro, right? And I really wanted to get into this team. This is when I just left school, right? And I think I was like 16 or 17 year old. I think I was 16 years old, right? So obviously I went to the trials. There was like 2 weeks of trials, I think, or 3. And unfortunately, I missed one of them, which I know that kind of messed me up because, I know that messed me up for sure. But then again, I was very small and everyone else was big. And don't think that helped at all because, I think that had a big effect on how I played. But I feel like I played all right in the trials, but unfortunately, I never got into the team, and that kind of broke my heart, and it just made me think, oh, Barnes. So what I used to do is go outside Crystal Palace Stadium every now and then and just do kick-ups and different skills and hope that someone would see me from Crystal Palace Stadium, want to scout me, and it didn't happen. But more times I was doing music. I was into music. I was just, obviously it was like the garage and grime scene back then. So I was doing a bit of that and, just doing my thing. But it was more like a hobby. But at the time, I didn't mind being like a musician. But it kind of grew on me more as I got older. I wanted to be, in the music industry and be a rapper and this, that and the other. So, and a songwriter, like, because I felt like I love writing. You know what I mean? I could just write songs all day. It's nothing. And I was like that. Literally, I could write songs all day from like the age of 15, like it was just normal for me. When no one didn't know, well, my age group, a lot of people didn't know how to structure songs. They didn't know how to, where the verses go, where the chorus goes, where the hook goes, where the bridge goes, where the intro, even the outro, they don't know where it goes, right? So all that kind of thing, like, I kind of mastered it at 15, you know what I mean? But moving away from that, for my opinion, obviously, I go with the opinion, not my opinion. I go with the opinion of the scholars that music is haram. So I no longer do that. But that was something that I kind of, as I got older, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted that to be my career, my career path. So anyways, moving away from that, in between the ages of 12, 13, obviously the music, like 16, 17, I was going on courses. I was, I got a music certificate, like studied that and whatnot, and moved away from that, was just chilling, doing music, working here and there. And when I was 20, like I said, this was before I went college, and actually just before I become 20, at the age of 18, I got into a problem where I got arrested. I'm not going to mention what I did, but I got arrested, went caught, the barrister said to me, "You look like it looks like you're, going jail. Like, I'm gonna have to be honest with you. Get your stuff ready." I think because this was like the last court hearing, right? And it was just like in my head, I'm like, I'm going jail, right? And around these times, I'm 18, and around these times, nobody around my age who I knew personally, there was probably loads in Brixton, Peckham, like all these other places, yeah, but like Fulton Heath, Croydon kind of ways, like my friends who I hung around with, a lot of them, I didn't know anyone who went jail at that time. So for me, I was shook because I didn't hear, like, how it is now. It's like man will go jail, some man will go jail, they'll come out and say it's just like a holiday, it's nothing. I didn't hear none of that. I only knew jail as what I've seen in documentaries. You know what I'm saying? And even worse than that, I saw American jail documentaries. I didn't see no British jail documentaries. I didn't know what the British jail system was like. So in my head, I'm shook. I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I'm like, I don't want to go jail. I can't go jail. So anyways, had the court hearing. Mum's crying. While I'm in court, I'm in the dock. Where the security is looking to bring me down in case I go jail. So at this point, they're about to give me my sentence or whatever. Whether I pled guilty anyway. So I was gonna get a sentence, but I could either get the less sentence, like, the lesser sentence. I don't know if that's how it works. But anyways, let me just cut to the chase, right? I didn't go jail. So my mom's crying in the background thinking I'm going to jail. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm not crying yet, but I know if I go to jail, I'll probably cry in the cells. Not in front of everyone, because I'm not that dumb. But yeah, I would have held my tears back and just been bawling in a cell, right? But that wasn't to be. Qadar of Allah. I weren't even Muslim there, but obviously Allah helps regardless. So I weren't Muslim, but I feel like Allah protected me from going there, because that would have affected me in the long run. And if it was Qadar of Allah, or it was written for me to be Muslim and I went jail, it could have had an effect on me right now as I'm speaking as a Muslim. So I just feel like Allah protected me from that. And there's a lot of things before I become Muslim, I know for sure that Allah protected me. Like, it's mad. So anyways, with that being said, I didn't go jail. They gave me a sentence though, because when they said you're getting sentenced or something, I think they said we are sentencing you to, and they're so slow in talking, like, because I don't know, like, it just felt like it was going in slow motion. So I'm just thinking, what years am I getting? Like, I'm thinking I'm going to jail, so I'm like, damn, how long am I getting? You know what I mean? But like, as they're saying it, and it's like you're sentenced to something hours of community service. I didn't even hear the hours. I just heard, like, I didn't hear the specific hours. I just heard something community service. Now I didn't know what the hell that was, because as I said, like, my friends them times weren't up to no badness. So it was like I didn't hear no community service, no jail, what that's like. I didn't hear none of that. So I was thinking, what's community service? All I knew is my barrister seemed happy with me, or you know what I mean, like, it just. So I was like, am I off, like, you know what I mean, asking questions, and then we're like, I don't even know if I was asking questions. I kind of made that one up, but like, I just remember everyone seeming more positive, and like, I'm looking around, like, my mom's not crying no more, like, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to jail, but what's this community service? So obviously I found out what it is. I'm like, damn, every Sunday I got to go to this community service, clean graffiti off the wall, chop up the grass on you know what I mean, like, take out the weed out of the grass and all this madness. Like, I'm just doing bare chores, basically doing bare work every Sunday, and literally I'm there like from doing crazy hours like every week. But it was like something like 100 and something hours, right? But I remember I think I weren't going like for a few weeks or something, but I had some excuse. And then I just remembered, like, I was thinking, wow, this is like every Sunday. It's not like every day where I could just bang out hours and it's simple and it's quick. I was like, this is going to last, like, this could last years. So, like, obviously I got back on point. I started going and just banged out the hours. It was 100 and something. You know what I mean? I think you could get a lot more than that. So, I was fortunate to not go jail. To be honest, with what I did, I was very fortunate on not going jail. So, anyways, that's that. I was at 18. Um, ah, wait, was that 18? Yeah, I was. Funny enough, that age is a funny age because around 18, 19, I got rushed. So let me tell you about this now. I was yeah, I got rushed, man, by some Brixton youths. I got rushed. So I remember these times I used to think I was bad in it because I was going to a college in Tooting where there was a lot of Brixton youths and like other people and like from different ends, and they were talking different slang from Fulton Heath. Like we was more late. We was like them guys that like would talk a bit of slang and thinking we're sick and da da da. It came later down the years where man were on stuff round our ends like doing madness, yeah. But them times it was like, it was all about Brixton and other places. So they were just like talking different from me. Like a lot of them were just up to no. They were in the college, but they were shotting. They were doing all sorts. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, raw. These men are different. But yeah, I kind of started just emulating other people's slang, and I was just talking like other people. And I'll come back to ends, and man are like, raw. What's that mean? What? I ain't heard that before. That what are you talking about? Like. You know what I mean? There's just certain things, just the way I was moving was different, innit? And I remember just rolling around with this blue bandana. I weren't no Crip. I know obviously in America, like you wear a blue bandana, you're a Crip, right? I weren't no Crip, but I had a blue bandana, thinking I was just gully. Yeah, thinking I was hard, like I was sick. So anyways, I'm like, alright, cool. So, yeah. I went to this party now, astaghfirullah. Obviously I wasn't Muslim then. Went to this place now. And that's not to say I didn't do any madness like when I become Muslim. When I first become Muslim, you know what I mean? I wasn't like how I am now. Not to go into anything, but I wasn't like how I am now. Alhamdulillah, Allah has made it a lot easier for me to become more of a practicing Muslim. But yeah, at the time it was just, you thinking you're bad, someone's looking at you, like, what are you looking at? Why is man looking at me? What are you watching man for? Like, what's good? Like, all that stuff, we was doing all that. And, one thing led to one thing, and then, you know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I went with one man up. Like, that was just done anyway. I went one man up to this party. And funny enough, they held it in this hall, which was my school. Like my old school. Obviously I wasn't in school then, but my old school is held in there, right? So it's just down the road from me, not far walking distance. Went there, and like I got my bandana. I've gone in there now. I don't even know how I got in there with my bandana, but I've got in there. Like, couple people on the mic spitting. That's in my head. I'm like, I want to go up there. I want to go and spit. But these people were like proper MCs in the industry. I weren't known, right? But I was like, I can spit. I want to do my thing. So I'm all thinking, yeah, I could get up there. But next thing I see some brothers who I actually know, right? And one of them, not going to mention his name, he's got caught up with like some next guy, and like they're just going at each other. So I'm like, what's going on? Then I see my man trying to drag up the brother who I knew, right? And he weren't a close friend, but he was someone who I knew of a next friend who, you know what I mean, I used to go to his ends and whatnot and chop it up, just chill and that. And I knew him as an MC as well, like, we used to all spit together, spit bars and that. Back when it was the gram scene was heavy. So anyways, this like he's trying it with the brother I know. So I've got involved like an idiot. And I'm like, whatnot. The guy's now left the brother that was, that I was talking about, who I knew. Like, he's now left him and he's come towards me. So now I'm like in his face, he's in my face. I can't remember, I think he said something like, where you from? Something like that. So I was at Fulton Heath and he was just like, us man, yeah, from Brixton. Like, he had to mention Brixton. I don't know why, but he mentioned Brixton. Man's from Brixton or something like that. We don't like you, man, from Fulton Heath. We don't like you, man. Da-da-da. So I'm like, man's in my ear, like, talking waffle, innit? Then he's tried to grab me. So I'm not gonna have it. Like anywhere I go, if someone tries it, I'm gonna defend myself, right? So even till this day, if someone's gonna try it with me, I'm gonna defend myself. Simple. So he's gone to me now. He's dragged me up. I've now dragged him up. And I felt how light he is. So I'm literally swinging him round. Swinging him about. Swinging him round. Then all I felt was one thump at the back of my head. So I've turned round. Back, 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 back. Enough bangs to the head. On the floor. Getting kicked up. Head's getting kicked up. Kicked in. I'm like, getting mashed up on the floor. Then it's got to that point where I'm getting beaten up so badly. I'm thinking, where are these licks coming from? Then I'm thinking, when's it gonna stop? You know that just you can't move, and it's just like, when's it gonna stop? Curling up into a ball. Then I'm like, when's it gonna stop? When's it gonna stop? Feeling my head getting kicked in, and then I've got up now, still baffled, not knowing what's going on, and it's like I was unconscious for a while because I've looked around and like it seems as if everyone's left. So you got like just a few people in the room. So I was unconscious, put it that way. But I've been kind of brought up. And bear in mind, them times I had a gold cap, them times. I was early with this. Not a lot of people had these gold caps, right? And had the gold cap. I remember I got it from Streatham with a couple friends, and they had it too. So I got the cap now, the gold cap in my mouth. But it's come out my mouth, like with blood. So I'm like this, and I'm looking at my hand, there's bare blood in it. So I'm thinking, what? Then I'm like, raw, what's going on? Like, then I'm being carried out by a couple men. I'm like, don't know who they are. They're taking me out. I'm like, what's going on? And then I made some phone calls, because I went to the toilet. Oh my, when I went to the toilet, I see my face just like, I had black eye already, like just black eye, bruised up face, blood everywhere, face looking mashed up. So I've gone out, I'm like, raw, like what happened to me? Like, but I knew in my head, I'm like, I got rushed. That's what happened, I got rushed, because it weren't by one man, and that same one man that I had the issue with, like I was swinging him about everywhere. Like if it was a one-on-one fight, easily would have taken him out. You know what I'm saying? But it was peak, man. My face was just mashed up, and yeah, I remember calling my mum. Obviously, my stepdad was there. You know what I mean? I spoke to him. He said he's coming down. He's gonna look for them. I was just like, let's call it a night. I just want to go home, and that's it. Went home. I remember. Obviously, my stepdad come pick me up. Went back home. I remember having a banging headache. My head was throbbing, like just a banging headache. Like it was so bad, to the point that I was just like, I gotta go to hospital. And then my mum being my mum back then, I think nowadays she would have just said, you're going to hospital. Even I would have said, I'm going to hospital. But yeah, man, I kind of just read it out for the night. I think my mum just said, tomorrow morning we'll go to hospital. So we went the next morning, A&E. They went to check my head. Everything was fine. Qadar of Allah, because I got rushed. Some people, they get rushed by 2 men and die. I know I got rushed by enough, man, because, yeah, man, them man are heavy when it comes to, obviously, Brixton, man, they come in like 10, 15, 20 man. They don't come one up, you know what I'm saying? So, and how I knew they were Brixton, man, anyway, even before he was saying that, they were going around saying bang, 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 bang. That's what they used to do in it, right? So anyways, and for those who know, I ain't got no problems with Brixton, man, now, like, you know what I mean? I'm a big man now. I'm a big man. Family, kids. I ain't got a problem with no one. But obviously, I defend myself anytime, anywhere. That's how it is. Especially my family. Sometimes I might give it a blah, you know, if it's me. Like, if it's just words, it's like, whatever, man. I'll just keep moving. As long as you ain't trying to bang me. You know what I mean? I'll just keep it moving. But family, no one touched my family. I'm defending them. All the way. Yeah? All the way. And my wife knows this as well, because... Anyway, I won't mention that one, but you know what I mean. So, anyways, yeah. So at the time, I've been rushed. Obviously, went home next day, hospital. They said I'm fine. I kept myself low after that. Like I wasn't going to no parties. I was just chilling. Became a bit more mature. Like started just, you know what I mean. Then I go to the odd parties, some next areas, and you know what I mean. It was just a bit more different. Like. I make sure I was, up with a few men and whatever. Like, just it was different, right? So I didn't get into that situation again. Actually, I've been in a lot of situations, but nothing like that. So I'm there, like, now, obviously. Oh yeah. So that was then. Obviously, I was 18, 19, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I'm not good at like taking it back. I have to try and remember everything, man, and it's hard to. You know what I mean? Like, how many years later? 15 years later, I'm a big man now. So, times have it's changed. I ain't even been in South London for like 10 years, 9 years, something like that. So, yeah, man, it was just peak. So let me just briefly go through all the things that I've been through. Stopped by police, arrested, just the usual, getting in trouble, in and out of trouble. Been arrested a few other times because of past relationships, girl trying to lock me up and all that madness, crazy relationships I've had before, married my wife, like just madness that I've got into, in that time of not seeing my dad. So anyways, I want to get to the point where I actually saw my dad, and that was at like age 20, around them times. Now, this was before I become Muslim, like just before I become Muslim, right? I was Christian, I was going to church, I was, you know what I mean? I was doing all of that. So I remember my mom telling me, she's like, I know where your dad lives. I'm like, what? How do you know? I followed him. I'm like, what? She said she followed. I was like, wait. You followed my dad? Where? I followed him to his house. He was in a car with his wife and his kids, and so that's new to me. I'm like, oh, he's got a wife, he's got kids. I might have known before then, but I'm not sure that was the first time I was like, kids. But anyways, my mum's followed him. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, you actually followed him home. So what my mum's did now, she's like, one day I'm gonna take you there and see where he lives. I said, not one day, I wanna go there. I was just on it, like I said, tomorrow or something like that. So anyway, it weren't long after she mentioned that we went down there. Lo and behold, it's just down the road from me. Like, literally like 10 minutes away from where I live. So we've driven there, it's easy to remember, because it's local. I remember it. And plus, obviously, you're young then, you've got a better memory than now. Nowadays, I won't even probably remember. Probably knock on someone else's door. But I was like, and the maddest thing is, after we went there to see where he lived, or for my mum to show me where he lived, I knocked on his door like way after that. Like it was probably like a year later. I just randomly decided, I said, I remember where my dad lives, I want to see if he still lives there. And I found the door, Qadr of Allah. Qadr of Allah. I don't know how I found it, but obviously it was easy to remember where the road was. Like, I remembered that, but the door number, I'm thinking, how did I even remember that? But I remembered. It was literally probably about a year later or something like that. Anyway, obviously my mum's dropped me there. I've seen the house and Then a year later or whatever, I've gone there myself. So I've gone there, mad nervous. Outside the house, I'm thinking, man, like... But obviously I'm kind of like thinking, is it this door or this door? This door? But I remember I was like, yeah. And I'm sure it was a white door. But I remember just saying, knocking, right? If this is the wrong door, I'll knock on the other door. Nothing. I've knocked there now. Someone answered, which was my brother, but I didn't know at the time. But he did he answer the door? I'm sure he opened the door. Then he said, Dad, someone's here for you. Someone. He don't know it's me. He don't know I'm his brother. My dad's come to the door now. He's like, oh, hello, Ricardo. I'm like, you're right, Dad. Like, I'm nervous. I'm like, you're right, Dad. He's like, yeah, come in. I thought he was going to say, why are you here? Like, He said, come in. Casually. So I've gone in, chilled. Like, I can't even remember what happened that day, but actually I do. I remember one time he said, when's your birthday again? And I'm in my head, I'm thinking, how do you not know my birthday? But he said, he said June. He got that right. Then he said the day. I'm like, that's not the day. He said a total different. He said on next day, and but I didn't say that's not the day to him. I said that in my head. So I'm just like, no. I told him the day, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah. I thought it was that, something like that. The next thing that I remember him saying, because he's quiet. He's actually quiet, like around me anyway. Maybe he's not like that in general, but because I don't know him like that, unfortunately. But he was quiet. I'm quiet. Like I wish like I asked him more questions. I should have just bombarded him with so much questions, just got to know him like hella more. Like I didn't do that, and that's one of the mistakes that I made. But yeah, I remember just kind of. I remember I found out that he supported Man United. You know what I mean? I'm an Arsenal fan, so was it Man United or Chelsea? I'm sure he supported Man United, or was it Chelsea? I can't even remember now. But yeah, and what else was there? He said, "You want to watch a film?" And there was like loads of films there. It's like, you know what I mean? Obviously, it was back then. It was DVD, innit? So it's like, "You want to watch a film?" I'm just like, "Yeah." There's no Netflix, none of that, innit? So I'm like looking at the shelf, like there's all gangster movies. And then I remember him saying, "Do you want to watch Scarface or something like that?" And I'm like, I can't remember if I said yes or I chose something else. I can't even remember. But all of this is so vague to me. Like it's bad that I can't remember, because it should be something I remember, because it was the first day that I went there. But these are the only bits that I kind of remember. That just goes to show we wasn't really talking. It was just more chilling, watching TV. A few odd questions here and there. His wife was cooking. And she's so very nice lady. She was very nice to me the whole time that I've spoke to her, or whenever I went to the house. Because I went more than one occasion. You know, I started going more often. I went there a few times, and then there was one time I didn't go for like months. And I remember going back there again, and then his wife was basically saying, "Where have you been? Like, never like go away for that long. Like, always come back. It's fine." She was very kind, very kind. But obviously, I felt like my relationship was with my father. So if that isn't really connecting, well, it's not really. I'm not gonna feel like going there. It's not about everyone else. You know what I mean? So that's how I felt. One memory that I have of my brother, my youngest brother, was no, my oldest brother. Let me tell you this. He had a crush on a girl. I remember he was saying, "I like that girl across the road." Remember, this is Jahiliyyah. I weren't Muslim. So I'm telling you, so you guys know, I weren't Muslim at the time, but because obviously I would have advised him something different. But anyways, I was encouraging him. He was basically saying there's some girl. Cause I think I asked him something like, "Do you have a girlfriend?" or something like that. He said, "Yeah," like, cause me at the time I was in a relationship. Anyway, forget that. Yeah, so he was like, he had a crush on this girl, yeah. So I'm like, "Raw, why don't you just speak to her?" Because I felt like in my head, I'm thinking, "Raw, like, what's the long thing? Just go speak to her." He's just like she lives on the road or something mad like that, and he's just like, "I haven't spoke to her, like, but I like her." And I'm like, "Just speak to her, man." I said, "This is what you should do." And so I'm advising him, saying you should do this and do that. So that's what I remember. That's the memory that I had of me and my brother, who was the older brother out of the two, but he's my youngest brother. Then there was my youngest brother. He was very young back then. He was like 6 or 7. He had a camera. Was it a camera? Yeah, a camera or phone, something like that. And he was, I can't remember what he was doing, but he was doing something, and it was just like, I was talking to him, and I remember just pulling out my phone, and I was like, "Let me take a photo of you," because I'm about memory. So I'm like, "I want to take a photo." Took a photo. I remember I lost that phone not long after. That's all I remember. I used to, most of my phones, I remember, I'm just careless with it, to be honest with you, especially when I was younger. So I didn't have that for long. And but now it's different. You could just go on Facebook, you see everyone, innit? It's so different now. So yeah, that was like just my memories of them. And another memory was, and this was the point when I look back at it, I feel like it was almost like a decoy, if that makes sense, to kind of keep me away from that family, like my brothers and my father. But anyways, this is what happened. So my brother was working at the swimming pool, which was a swimming pool, a leisure center. Okay, I think he was a lifeguard or something like that. And yeah, he was a lifeguard because he enjoyed swimming. I think that's what he did. So he worked there, and I remember us, man, like as being young, the youths that we used to just roll in there for free, just go in there all the time. Just we didn't pay no membership. We just roll up in there and just work out. No one could tell us nothing. That was our mindset. So we work out. No one ain't telling me nothing. I'm walking through. You know what? It's Maghrib, you know. What am I doing? I should be praying. Okay, so I don't know how this. I might have to do a second part, but I'm gonna be trying to be quick because I gotta pray. Like I just realized. So inshallah, I gotta pray. But yeah. So, anyways, let me get to this point and then jump onto the next point real quick. So I remember speaking to my brother, and then he would be like, you know what? There's a thing where if you're family, you could get in for free, so you don't need to do all that. Because I think he clocked me, like I was just rolling up there like casually. He'll be like, you don't need no membership, nothing, you get in for free because you're my brother. I said, alright, cool, you have to do that. And then I remember him saying, you know what, I got your sister's number, you know. I was like, okay. I've never spoke to any of my sisters up until this time. So I took the number, I phoned my sister, and I can't remember the conversations, but I remember going to the house. I don't know if it was my eldest sister's house, Shalon. I think it was her house. And it was literally just down the road from me again. Like, so I'm like, wow, we're all close. This is mad. Like, so I've gone there, and I remember we was just chilling. I had a good time. Like, and up until now, I still speak to my sisters. You know what I'm saying? And you know, especially my middle sister, I won't mention her name, but you know, I feel like yeah, like we've had, I don't know, it's weird because it's hard having half sisters, you know what I'm saying, and half brothers. Like, we don't have the same mums, we got the same dad, but for me, my sister is my sister, man. And it's like, and my sisters are my sisters, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, all now, like, I talk to my sister, my middle sister, the most. And yeah, man, I mean, it's just amazing how, and I'm just going to get to the point, I don't talk to my brothers. I don't talk to my father now. There's a conversation that me and my father had, and that kind of just broke everything up. It just messed up. I'm not going to get into details, but it wasn't no bad, it wasn't no like argument or anything. It's just something that I said, and he took it the wrong way, and that was it. He's just one of those people, obviously, he can't forgive me for what I said, and it wasn't even that deep, to be honest with you. It's something that should be forgiven, you know, at least a couple of days later. At least, like, I mean, it was nothing really. I've said worse to other people. It wasn't actually bad. I'm saying I said worse as if it was bad. It wasn't bad. It's just that I mentioned, anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but it's just a mistake that I made. I felt like I shouldn't have said it. And until this day, I feel guilty of saying it, because not because I felt like it was wrong, but just because that's what stopped us talking. I would rather it been like, we didn't have no problems, nothing, no kind of nothing. He just didn't speak to me. I would rather it like that, but it was simply because I said something that he took the wrong way, out of context, and that was it. Finito. And I can't even find his page now. But yeah, I find my brother's page, my youngest brother. The other brother, he's off ski. I don't know where he is. I don't know where my brother is. Right? But my youngest brother, he's on Facebook all the time. I can literally go to his post, and I can listen. If I'm to be nosy, I can see his posts, and then that can lead me on to seeing, you know, I mean, to be honest with you, I still can't even find my dad on his page. Like, I don't see his name there, so maybe I've been blocked. I don't know, but yeah, I can see pictures of him and the family, and so I see things, but I'm like, I think that's not good for me, because it makes me feel like, raw. I've never had that from my dad. Like, I've never had we've never taken a picture. He's never taken me anywhere like football matches or anything like that. You know what I mean? So you can get a little bitter. So I kind of stay away from that. But if I want to be nosy, sometimes I just stand and just see what's going on. Maybe there's a picture of my dad or something. But yeah, other than that, I mean, my brother's just he's not on there. So yeah, man, it is what it is. So I'm just gonna end this anyway. I could have spoke for hours. Like I didn't even get to the point where I spoke to my dad again. Maybe I should speak about that. So yeah, I'm gonna mention that. So obviously, I spoke to him at 20. Then, funny enough, I spoke to him again. I can't remember how I got his number, what happened. I'm not going to get into that. But I got his number, I spoke to him. And I remember when I spoke to him, he was just like, we need to meet up. And he was, not like he said that. I said, we need to meet up or whatever. But he was like, I can come down to your area and meet you in Croydon. But I remember I didn't mention at the time that I lived at East London. So, because we was texting. I think we was texting off on the phone. I can't even remember, man. But I was just like, you know what? We can do that. But or I can go straight to where you live because he moved to Brighton. Not Brighton. I was about to say the actual area. It wasn't even Brighton anyway. But he moved to another area in like outside of London, right? I'm not gonna mention the name of the place, but he moved out, right? To the next place, right? So I'm like, okay, it's bare far, but I'm gonna go down there because he said, yeah, you could come down, but I don't know. He said you can come down. There was no buts, nothing. It was just like you can come down. We're gonna arrange this, and then it was just like a text or a phone call, and it was just like basically, you can come down soon, but right now we're just like decorating the house and sorting out the house and stuff like that. And I could see pictures on Facebook of that happening, so you clearly weren't lying, innit? And I was more optimistic because I felt like this time round he seems like he actually wants to meet, innit? And then I remember speaking to him, and like, remember one time I had a conversation with him, and he's just like, well, like, he's been through a lot. Like, he's had problems with, you know, growing up. Like, he's been through a lot, basically. When you hear someone say they've been through a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, maybe that's had an effect on how he deals with people and whatnot. And yeah, so that was that. It was like, obviously I spoke to him, you know, and funny enough, that was just before COVID, like maybe a year or two before COVID. And so around the time that I did speak to him again, yeah, it was still before COVID, but I remember him saying that, yeah, we could meet up, and then I had that, it was a big gap, like we just didn't see each other, and that didn't come into fruition, is that the word? But it didn't manifest, that didn't happen, we didn't meet up. However, I felt optimistic that we're going to meet up because we were still kind of talking, right? There was no problems, nothing. He'll answer messages. I'll be on Facebook. I'll message him. He'll respond back, like this, that, and the other. But there was one time I spoke to him. I don't know if it was via text or on. No, I don't think it was on Facebook. I think it was via text. And then maybe he blocked me or something happened. But yeah, I had a conversation with him. It went wrong. It went left. It didn't work, and then it was just like, alright, cool, that's it. And like since then, obviously I'm a person, I'm very forgiving, and especially when it comes to family, you have to be, for me anyways. Everyone's got their own kind of personal choice and whatnot, and you leave it to them, innit? But Islamically, you're not allowed to cut ties. So that's one of the reasons why I try my best to keep ties with everyone in my family. Even if there's been a situation where I'm like, you know what, I don't even know if I can even speak to them again. Like, because there's been moments like that with other family members, you know what I mean? Sometimes. But I'm just in general, I can say that, but a few days later, I'll be like, nah, I need to speak to them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just that person. So I always said, like, you know, no matter what, if I don't see my dad, there's going to be a day where he passes away. And nobody in my family is going to say, you can't come to the funeral. I'm going. So that's, in my head, I'm holding on to that. If he passes away before I do, I'm going to his funeral. So at least I could be like, okay, cool. I've laid you to rest. I knew you a little bit. You was a stranger to me, but you're my father, and you always will be. And it is what it is. So I'm holding on to that because I might not see him again until that day. You know what I'm saying? Until that day. And even then, it might just be like, you know what I mean? Like, to be on a serious note, like, he'll be in a, you know, covered up in a coffin, and I might not even see his face, but I know he's there. Everyone's present, everyone, that's my dad. So I'm holding on to that. That's just how it is. Because at the end of the day, I have to think like that. Because I don't want it to be like a thing where, wow, I'm never seeing my dad again. And that's it, locked off, end. End of story, that's it. But then again, you know what's scary? He could just move to a next country, and then I hear the news, and it's like I can't get there. Like if something's happened, I can't get there. So it's one of them things, and it's mad. But I'm gonna end it here, because I could speak for hours about family situations, hours. Especially something like this, like literally I could speak for hours, but I'm gonna go now, lock this off. Yeah, that was Red Room. You know, I gave you my heart, I spoke real, I was honest. Shouts out to my sisters, my older sisters, I love them to pieces, love them to bits. Shouts out to all the rest of my family that they know how I feel, and I ain't gonna explain myself, but I felt like I needed to explain for my sisters, because I feel like there's a big difference. My brother's totally different. I don't know if my dad's had some type of influence on that, because they don't show me no love, like from what I feel anyway, nothing at all. My sisters all day long, but unfortunately, yeah, obviously as we get older and we have families and stuff like that, it's hard to see one another, especially with this COVID. You don't know how people are feeling, you don't know if people want to actually meet up, all these kind of things. So hopefully I'll see my sisters soon. I ain't seen them for ages, right? But yeah, love, shouts out to everyone who's subscribed, follow and whatnot. Not followed, but subscribed, you know what I'm saying? But cool, peace.